Man, that was a pain, but finally got on there. That third screw up there that was not for the manifold up here. Full focus. Went right here, and the reason it was off because it held this tensioner for the throttle cable here. Got those in. They're not too terribly tight. Where are they at here? Here they are. They're on there super tight, so they can have room to expand and contract. Got this guy plugged in, the float bowl drain hose right there it just matched up so nicely. This guy's a little crusty, but I was able to get him all the way around. I'll get this tensioner up and around there, get him on, and then I can hook up the fuel tank and the petcock. And man, I really am tempted to start it up, but I definitely need to give this thing an oil change before I try that, because 10-year-old oil, and dude, this is, oh, it's gunky down there. It is so gunky down there. Yeah, it definitely needs to have a clean up and oil change, because that's gross. That is nasty. This thing was so gunky that I actually thought it was black before I started to clean it. In the moment of truth, is there goop in there or is there oil? Kind of nervous. Oh, that's not too bad at all, is it? Oh, it's black. But that's not goopy. And it doesn't smell like gas. So the head gasket on this is probably not horrible. And the valve, or not the valve, but the piston rings probably aren't too bad either. Now, I don't think on this baby little engine that there is an oil filter. I don't see any spot that an oil filter could reside. So I think that is it for oil. I just gotta drain it out. On the bottom, I'm sure I'll find a plug. Put some new oil on it. Throw the gas tank on there, and then we will see if I can get this guy to fire up. It's going pretty smoothly. So I flipped over the bike to do the oil change on it and looking for the drain plug, and I found two bolts that both could look like a drain plug. And this one looked to me like it was pretty dang clean, and this one looked like it's got more goop about it, so I thought that this was the drain plug. But thankfully I had the wherewithal to go and do some research, because it turns out I was wrong. This is actually the drain plug. And I feel bad for this one guy online. He said he thought this was a drain plug, and he took it out, and out with it sprung a rod and a spring and some other stuff. And he put it all back together, started back up, and the engine blew up. He started having a pretty bad top-end tick to it. It turns out this is actually the cam chain belt tensioner, chain tensioner, cam chain tensioner. You can see how the cam is right here. The belt, or the chain, probably not a belt, is coming down, and it's right in line with this. So that is putting tension on the cam chain. And I'm glad that I looked it up, because here, which I thought was not it, is the oil plug, and this you don't want to touch. So I'm going to pull this guy out, drain the oil out. It looks taking about 0.7 quarts of 10W40. And we'll get to moving along. Although now that this is up, I wonder if I should. I'll probably do it another day, but there is some rust under here, so I will probably end up spraying this down with a little bit of sealant of some sort, some rock chip or bed liner, just so it doesn't continue to rust out the frame here. Now, because I live in a hotter environment, I should really be using 10W40, but I don't have any on hand, and this is pretty temporary, so I've got some 10W30. It's still spring here, so I think I can get away with it for now, and I'll change it out again before the kid gets going on it and really is riding it hard. But I got her up, get that drain plug out, got my oil pan. We'll get this done really fast. So I looked for also online if there was an oil filter There's not an oil filter, but there is an oil screen on the other side of the engine cover. I'm not too worried about it. The oil looks really clean. I think we'll be alright. This engine is pretty dang bulletproof. I don't think we'll have any issues with that. So I'm going to leave that alone for now and just get in some fresh oil. Get her chooching along. It's coming out pretty clean. Nothing too goopy or creamy coming out. All this makes me excited. It has been sitting for the past 12 years. Was half nervous about this. It looks pretty clean. Got it in. You can see the hole that I cut. Works perfectly. New gas cap. Screws on there nicely. That's on really nice. I completely guessed on which screw this went in. It fit, and it's holding it on snug, so I'm going to make it work. This all lines up nicely. Next item on the agenda is to attach this petcock to that part right there. And once that's done, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't try and start this guy. In the depths of the bike, as I was taking it apart, I found this gas line. And on this carburetor right here, you can see there is a nozzle there. Now, could this fit on there? Yeah, it most definitely could. However, I also think that this could be for the gas tank. I'm not 100% sure. What I'm actually going to do is go check up on my other bike and see what that looks like. If that has that open nozzle, I'll go ahead and start this guy up. If not, I'll hook. Here's my XR650, and if you look under there, check it out. On the side of the carburetor, there most definitely is a gas line coming off that, so this is probably exactly what that is. Nice to have a reference, for sure. I don't know if this was a rebreather valve or an overflow deal, but it's on there now. Time to get some gas in this beast and start her up. Fingers crossed. And I hear gas leaking. That's too bad. Oh boy. Oh, it just popped right off. That's not supposed to pop off. That's supposed to stay on there. Get on there, boy. That did not go as planned. Now, while the gas lines are not cracked, what's happened is, namely this guy, which you can see just fell off, it's completely lost its elasticity around the connection right here, and so I will need to get new gas lines indeed. I'm tempted to still try and start this, however, the last thing I want to do is burn it to the ground. So I think I'm going to wait for this to get out a little bit, quit dripping quite so much. And then I'll move it, and I'm going to see if I can't get it to start. Now what I'm going to do while this is happening is I'm going to be pulling this cord. The key's still off, and this is going to be just kind of priming gas into the whole system. Let's see what happens. Alright, here we go. It's been 12 years since this thing has ever chooched. Turn the key to on. Turning the choke on. See what happens. Almost fired right there. Maybe not. No, I don't think so. Make sure this is on. Let's try to get the choke off. We'll change this to reserve instead, in case we ran out of gas a little bit. Let's see what else. Try with the choke off. Oh boy, that was it. It wants to. Oh yeah! Crazy! Oh my gosh! Honda, baby! Dude, this thing just wants to be alive!